What if the reality you see is not fixed, but waiting for your command? Every thought, every emotion is not just passing energy. It is a signal, and the quantum field is listening. The question is, what are you telling it to create? What if reality isn't something happening to you just but through you? What if every so-called coincidence, every twist of fate was never random at all, but the echo of your own frequency returning back to you? You've felt it before, haven't you? That strange moment when you think of someone and suddenly they call. When the perfect opportunity arrives at the exact moment you needed it most. When the universe seems to bend, quietly, seamlessly, in your favor. Some call it luck. Some call it divine intervention. But deep inside, you know it's something greater. It is the whisper of the quantum field responding to you. Because here's the secret most people never realize. You are not a passive observer of this world. You are the composer. You are the tuning fork. And every thought, every emotion, every belief vibrates outward into the invisible web of reality, shaping the form it takes before it reaches you. But let's slow down. Why does this idea feel so powerful and yet so unbelievable? It's because we've been raised to see life as linear, cause-effect, effort-result, time passing like a straight line. But quantum manifestation invites you into a new vision, life not as a line, but as a field of infinite possibilities, waiting to be chosen. Imagine reality like a vast ocean. Most people believe they are a small boat, tossed around by the waves of circumstance. But the truth? You are the tide itself. You are the current. And when you learn how to direct your own frequency, the ocean rearranges for you. Think of the quantum field as a mirror. It does not judge. It does not filter. It simply reflects what you project. If your inner world is filled with fear, lack, and doubt, the mirror will faithfully show you more of it. But the moment you shift into trust, gratitude, and knowing, the reflection shifts instantly. This is why manifestation often feels like magi. It's not because the universe is granting random favors, but because reality itself is designed to echo your state of being. And here's the key. It works faster than you think. Not in years, not in decades, but in moments, in synchronicities, in those invisible alignments where your path bends in ways logic cannot explain. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture your life as a web of glowing threads, each thread a possible timeline. Some lead to abundance, love, freedom. Others lead to struggle, stagnation, repetition. Now, every time you think, every time you feel, every time you choose, you send a signal. And that signal tugs on the thread of your chosen timeline, pulling it closer into form. This is not just mystical poetry. Science has already given us glimpses. The observer effect shows us that the act of attention collapses possibilities into outcomes. Neuroscience reveals that your brain rewires itself constantly, forming new pathways with every thought. And the placebo effect? It proves that belief alone can trigger physical transformation. So tell me, if belief can heal the body, why not the life around you? Here's the beauty. You don't have to force this power. It's already happening. Every moment you are manifesting. The only question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? Most people drift, repeating yesterday's thoughts, recycling yesterday's feelings, replaying yesterday's fears. And so the quantum field, like a faithful servant, keeps returning the same movie. But the moment you awaken, the moment you realize the projector is in your hands, everything changes. This is the beginning of your journey, not to create from scratch, but to remember that you've always been the creator. Not to force reality, but to tune yourself to the reality you desire. Because manifestation is not about chasing what you want, it's about becoming it. And when you embody the frequency of your desire, the quantum field has no choice but to reflect it back. So listen closely. The whispers you've been hearing, the synchronicities, the nudges, the dreams that won't leave you, they are not random. They are signals. Signals that your higher self is already pulling you into alignment. The question is not if manifestation works. The question is, are you willing to listen? Are you willing to feel? Are you willing to choose? Because reality is listening. And the moment you remember this truth, the quantum field begins to move. You felt the whispers of the quantum field. But now, let's ground this mystery into the language of science, because what feels like magic is actually the most natural law of the universe. Imagine for a moment that reality is not solid. What looks like a chair, a wall, your own body, is not fixed matter. It is energy. Atoms vibrating, particles dancing, fields overlapping. And if you were to zoom in deep enough, past molecules, past atoms, past electrons, you would not find a solid thing at all. You would find probability, a shimmering cloud of possibilities. This is the truth discovered in the heart of quantum physics. Nothing is truly fixed until it is observed. The universe itself waits, as if holding its breath, until consciousness chooses. Take the famous double-slit experiment. When particles are not observed, they behave like waves, spreading out into infinite possibilities. But the moment they are measured, the moment attention is given, they collapse into a single outcome. Think about that. Matter itself responds to observation. What does that mean for you? It means your awareness is not passive. It is active. It shapes the fabric of reality. Every thought, every focus of your attention is an act of collapsing possibility into form. Neuroscience tells us something just as astonishing. Your brain is not a fixed machine. It is plastic, rewiring itself moment by moment. Each thought you repeat carves a groove, strengthening that pathway, like footsteps across grass forming a trail. Over time, that trail becomes your automatic reality. Your habits of thought become habits of life. So when you think thoughts of limitation, lack, and fear, your brain literally builds circuits that reinforce that reality. But when you think thoughts of possibility, gratitude, abundance, you fire and wire new patterns that prepare your body and mind for a new timeline. And then there is the placebo effect, the great embarrassment of modern medicine, and also its greatest proof. People given sugar pills often heal, not because of the pill, but because they believe they are healing. Their belief shifts biology. Cells respond. Immune systems activate. Wounds close. Belief alone reprograms the body. Now imagine if belief can reshape the body. What could it do to your external life? Here's where spirituality and science merge. Ancient mystics have always said, the outer world is the mirror of the inner world. Quantum physics now gives us the mechanics. Consciousness directs probability. Attention collapses waves. Belief reprograms biology. It's as if modern science is finally catching up to what wisdom traditions have whispered for centuries. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. But let's pause, because here is where most people misunderstand manifestation. They think it's about simply asking, or daydreaming, or wishing hard enough. They say affirmations with their lips while carrying doubt in their hearts, and so they see no change, and assume it doesn't work. The truth is deeper. The quantum field does not respond to words alone. It responds to coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs vibrate in harmony, that's when your signal becomes undeniable. Think of yourself as a radio tower. If your mind broadcasts one frequency, but your emotions another, and your body another, the signal is scattered. The universe hears static. But when all three align, mind, heart, body, your signal becomes a clear broadcast, and reality tunes itself to match. This is why meditation, visualization, and heart-centered practices are so powerful. They pull your mind and emotions into coherence. They help you embody the frequency of your desire before it arrives. Neuroscientists call this priming the brain. Mystics call it becoming the vibration. But it's the same truth. When you feel the reality you want, as if it is already here, your body and brain don't know the difference. They begin preparing you for it. And the quantum field, that great mirror, reflects it back. Now let me share a simple story. A woman once sat in her small apartment, filled with bills she could not pay. Every day she affirmed, "I am abundant," but inside she felt lack. The field echoed her feelings, not her words. Nothing changed. Until one evening, she tried something different. Instead of repeating empty phrases, she closed her eyes and imagined. She pictured herself walking through her dream home, feeling the smooth wood under her feet, smelling fresh flowers on the table, hearing laughter in the air. For the first time, her body felt the reality, and in that moment, her frequency shifted. Within weeks, opportunities appeared. Unexpected income, a new job offer, supportive people. Her external world began reshaping, not because she begged the universe, but because she tuned herself into alignment. That is quantum manifestation in action. And here's the beauty. You don't have to force the field. You only need to tune yourself to it. The way you tune a guitar string until it vibrates in harmony with the others. You tune your mind and heart until they resonate with the frequency of the life you choose. When you reach coherence, the field does the rest. So now you understand. This isn't about positive thinking or pretending or repeating mantras you don't believe. This is about becoming. It is about embodying the reality before it arrives. And when you do, the universe bends. Not in years, not someday, but faster than you think. If quantum manifestation is so natural, then why do so many people feel stuck? Why do you affirm, visualize, and pray, yet watch days, months, sometimes years go by without seeing the change you long for? This is where most seekers stumble. Not because the universe is ignoring them, but because unseen resistance clouds their signal. Think of a butterfly in a cocoon. From the outside, it may look trapped, struggling, even failing. But inside, a transformation is happening, the old form dissolving to make way for wings. Most people in the process of manifestation are like this. They believe nothing is working, when in truth, the old patterns are dissolving so the new reality can emerge. But the mind, impatient, interprets delay as failure, and so it doubles down on doubt. And doubt, like static in the signal, slows the alignment. Here's the hard truth. You cannot attract abundance while secretly believing you are unworthy. You cannot call in love while fearing abandonment. You cannot step into freedom while clinging to the chains of old identity. This is the paradox. Your words may say, "I am ready," but your subconscious whispers, "I am not enough." And the quantum field responds faithfully to the deeper frequency, not the surface noise. Neuroscience explains this perfectly. Your subconscious mind runs about 95% of your daily life, built from past memories, conditioning, and repeated stories. If those stories say, "I always struggle," or "good things don't last," then those programs become the default signal you broadcast. And no matter how many affirmations you repeat on the surface, the field mirrors the deeper code. This is why so many people feel as though manifestation doesn't work. It does. It always does. But it mirrors your true inner frequency, not just your conscious wishes. Imagine tuning a radio. You say you want to hear jazz music, but your dial is set to static. No matter how passionately you ask for jazz, you won't hear it until you align the dial. Manifestation works the same way. You must align your subconscious patterns with your conscious desires. But alignment isn't easy, because we've been conditioned for years, even lifetimes, to believe in limits. Society says success takes decades of grinding. Teachers warn us not to dream too big. Family patterns tell us scarcity is normal. Religion sometimes frame desire as selfish or dangerous. All of these beliefs, absorbed quietly over time, form the invisible walls of the cocoon. So when you try to fly, you slam into these walls. You repeat affirmations, but they bounce off old programming. You visualize wealth, but your nervous system contracts in fear of loss. You meditate on love, but your body remembers heartbreak. This is the silent struggle of manifestors. It's not that you are broken. It's that you are trying to plant new seeds in soil filled with old roots. But here is where the story shifts, because resistance is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Every doubt, every fear, every block rising to the surface is not proof that you failed. It's proof that you are awakening. Think of resistance as the weight a muscle lifts in order to grow. Without it, there is no strength. Without the cocoon, there is no butterfly. So when manifestation feels slow, when it feels like nothing is working, it may be because the field is recalibrating. Your old identity is dissolving. And like the butterfly, you are in the hidden phase, invisible wings forming in the dark. This is why patience is not passive. Patience is powerful alignment. Because when you trust the process instead of doubting it, you shift the signal you send. You move from, "Why isn't it here yet?" to, "I know it's already unfolding." And that shift alone collapses timelines faster than you realize. But still, there is something deeper. A reason why results sometimes feel so painfully slow. It's because most of us carry an unconscious belief in linear time. We've been trained to see reality as cause-effect, step by step, year by year. We believe change must take long, slow effort. But the quantum field does not operate on the clock of the ego. It operates in leaps, in jumps, in sudden collapses of possibility. So while your mind says, "This will take years," your higher self whispers, "It can happen in a moment," and often it does. The truth is, the struggle of manifestors is not proof of failure. It is the prelude to breakthrough. It is the moment just before the cocoon tears open. It is the darkness just before the dawn. And if you can hold the frequency through the resistance, if you can trust the whispers more than the doubts, then you will discover what so many never do. That manifestation works faster than you think. What if time isn't the straight line you've been taught to believe? What if, instead of marching step by step from past to present to future, time is more like a shimmering web, a field of parallel possibilities, all existing at once? This is not just philosophy. It is quantum physics. At the subatomic level, particles don't move predictably from point A to point B. They exist in superposition, multiple states at once, until observation collapses them into one. Now imagine that on the scale of your life. Every version of you already exists. The wealthy you, the loved you, the healed you, the free you. Each is a timeline, vibrating in the field of possibility. So manifestation is not about creating something from nothing. It is about collapsing into the version of reality that already exists. Picture it like a radio. The station you want to hear is already broadcasting right now. You don't create the music. You simply tune your dial until you receive it. When your frequency aligns, the signal becomes clear. And in the same way, when your consciousness aligns with the frequency of your desire, the timeline collapses, and the future you were reaching for suddenly feels present. This is why manifestation often seems to happen all at once. You may wait, and wait, and wait, and then suddenly everything shifts. The job appears. The love arrives. The breakthrough lands in your lap. From the outside, it looks like coincidence. But from the inside, you realize it was alignment. Your signal reached coherence, and time itself folded to meet you. Neuroscience gives us a clue here. The brain does not experience time the way a clock does. When you recall a past event, your neurons fire as if you are reliving it now. When you vividly imagine a future, your brain lights up as though it is happening now. To your nervous system, the past and the future are not separate from the present. They are all alive in this moment. So when you embody the feeling of your desired reality, your brain and body believe it is here. You begin living the frequency now, and the quantum field, like a mirror, reflects it back with astonishing speed. But here is where the magic deepens, because most people are waiting for the future. They say, when I have the money, I'll feel abundant. When I meet the partner, I'll feel love. When I succeed, I'll feel worthy. But quantum manifestation works the opposite way. You must feel it first. You must become it first. And then reality has no choice but to reflect it. This is the secret of collapsing time. You step into the frequency of your desire now, and in doing so, you dissolve the waiting. You collapse years into moments. Let me give you an image. Imagine you are standing in a hall of mirrors. Each mirror reflects a different version of you, one struggling, one thriving, one lost, one radiant. Now you cannot reach into the mirrors and pull the reflections out. But you can choose where to stand. And as you move, the reflection changes instantly. You didn't create a new version of yourself. You simply aligned with it. That is what you are doing with the quantum field. You are shifting your stance, your frequency, your state of being, and the reflection of reality changes accordingly. And here is the most liberating truth. It does not have to take long. It only takes coherence. It only takes a moment of true alignment, where your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs harmonize, and your nervous system feels the reality as real. When that happens, the field responds now. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. But let's acknowledge the struggle again. Because the mind says, how can it happen so fast? Doesn't success take years of effort? And yes, in the linear world, it seems that way. But think of it like quantum leaps in science. Water heats gradually, degree by degree, until suddenly at 100 degrees it shifts state, boiling into steam. The leap is instant, though the buildup was gradual. Manifestation works the same. Your inner shifts build silently, unseen. And then, at a tipping point, reality collapses. Not slowly, not gradually, but in an instant. This is why so many people describe sudden breakthroughs. The writer who struggled for years and then overnight landed a book deal. The entrepreneur who failed 10 times and then suddenly struck gold. The person searching for love who one day unexpectedly met the perfect partner. From the outside, it looks like luck, but from the inside, it is alignment, reaching critical mass. The field finally had enough coherence to collapse the timeline into form. So the real question is not how long manifestation takes. The real question is, how fast can you align? How willing are you to embody the state of your desire now? Because the timeline you long for is already here. It is not waiting years away. It is vibrating next to you, closer than your own breath. And the moment you tune to it, it is yours. Think of this as collapsing distance. The future is not far. It is simply a frequency shift away. And when you shift, when you feel it, believe it, embody it, time itself bends, and the future arrives in the now. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? If every reality exists, if time can collapse in a heartbeat, what timeline are you ready to step into? Because the field is listening, always listening, and the moment you decide, truly decide, the collapse begins. So far, you've discovered that manifestation is not about waiting years for results. It is about collapsing timelines, stepping into alignment so reality mirrors your frequency faster than you ever believed possible. But here's the question most seekers ask next. How do I actually do it? How do you take this knowledge from theory into practice? Because knowing the science is one thing, living the vibration is another. The truth is, you are already practicing manifestation every day. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you linger in, every belief you embody is a practice. The question is not whether you are manifesting. The question is, are you manifesting consciously or unconsciously? To shift into conscious manifestation, you must learn to tune yourself, deliberately, gently, consistently, into the frequency of your desired reality. And you do this through practice, not force, not strain, but practice. Let's begin with visualization. Not the kind where you merely see an image in your mind, but the kind where you embody it. Close your eyes. Imagine your desired reality in vivid detail. Walk through it as if you are there. Touch it. Smell it. Hear the sounds around you. But most importantly, feel it. Feel the emotion of already living it. Because it is not the picture that moves the quantum field. It is the vibration. And when your nervous system feels the reality as now, your frequency shifts instantly. Next, embodiment. This is the art of living as if, not pretending, not faking, but stepping into micro shifts that align you with your chosen reality. For example, if you are manifesting abundance, how does an abundant version of you sit, breathe, walk into a room. If you are manifesting love, how does a loved and radiant version of you treat yourself each day? If you are manifesting freedom, how does a free you make choices, even in small daily routine? As these micro shifts are signals that tell your subconscious, this is who I am now. And the subconscious, once convinced, broadcasts that reality without resistance. Another practice, gratitude, quantum style. Most people use gratitude to thank the universe for what they already have. And yes, that is powerful. But here's a deeper layer. Be grateful for what is not yet visible, as though it is already here. When you give thanks for your desires in the present tense, not someday, not if, but thank you that it is done, your body feels the reality now, and the field responds. Gratitude is the frequency of completion. It tells the universe, the signal is clear, I am aligned, it is done. And then there is the practice of coherence. This is where science and mysticism merge. HeartMath researchers have shown that when your heart and brain rhythms sync, when you enter a state of love, gratitude, or compassion, your entire electromagnetic field becomes coherent. And in that state, manifestation accelerates. You can practice coherence simply by placing a hand on your heart, breathing slowly, and feeling gratitude for something real in your life right now. Stay in that feeling until it grows. Then, project that same feeling into your desire. This aligns mind, heart, and body, the triple broadcast that the quantum field cannot ignore. But here's the part most people overlook. Action. Not desperate action, not forced hustle, aligned action. Because once you shift your frequency, reality will begin nudging you. Opportunities appear. Ideas spark. People cross your path. When they do, act. Take the inspired step. Say yes. Because manifestation is not only inner alignment, it is outer embodiment. The field opens doors, but you must walk through them. Now let's bring this together in a story. A young man once dreamed of becoming an artist, but for years he told himself it wasn't practical. He worked jobs he hated, repeated affirmations that felt empty, and waited for someday. Nothing changed. One day, he shifted his practice. Instead of saying, I want to be an artist, he began living as if he already was one. He set up a small studio corner in his apartment. He spent 10 minutes a day painting, feeling gratitude as if his dream career was already unfolding. He embodied the identity of an artist, even in tiny ways. Within months, opportunities appeared. A friend introduced him to a gallery, strangers commissioned his work, and the career he thought was impossible began to form. Not because the universe suddenly noticed him, but because he tuned into the timeline where his art was already real. That is the practice of quantum alignment. And here's the beauty. You don't have to get it perfect. This is not about rigid routines or obsessing over every thought. It is about gently redirecting yourself again and again back into alignment. Like tuning a guitar. Sometimes the string drifts out of tune, but a small adjustment brings it back. The same is true for you. So let this be your practice. Each day, visualize not just with your mind, but with your body. Embody micro-shifts that match your chosen reality. Give thanks not only for what you see, but for what is unseen. Bring your heart and mind into coherence. And when the field opens doors, walk through them. Remember, the practice is not about forcing reality. It is about becoming so aligned that reality has no choice but to reflect you. And when you practice alignment, even in small ways, you will notice something extraordinary. Synchronicities multiply. Opportunities arrive faster. Life feels lighter, freer, more effortless, because you are no longer waiting. You are living it now. And the quantum field, faithful and precise, mirrors it back. You've now seen the principles, the science, and the practices. But principles alone do not ignite the heart. It is the stories that breathe life into the quantum. Because when you hear the lived proof, when you see how others collapse timelines and summon miracles, doubt begins to dissolve, and faith begins to root itself in your cells. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman who had struggled for years with scarcity. Bills piled high, opportunities felt scarce, and every day was filled with fear of not having enough. She tried affirmations, she tried vision boards, but nothing seemed to change. One night, after learning about quantum manifestation, she tried something different. Instead of repeating words, she sat in silence, placed her hand on her heart, and whispered, "Thank you for the abundance that is already mine." At first, it felt like a lie. Her reality screamed lack, but she practiced anyway. She embodied tiny acts of abundance, tipping a little more generously, dressing in a way that made her feel wealthy, breathing as if she was already secure. Within weeks, she received an unexpected check. Then, a promotion at work. And then an opportunity she had once dismissed as impossible. It was as if the universe had been waiting all along for her signal to shift. And when she shifted, the mirror of reality responded. Another story. A young man dreamed of love. But heartbreaks had left him guarded, skeptical, and convinced that love never lasts. And so, unconsciously, that belief kept repeating itself, partner after partner, disappointment after disappointment. But one day, he reframed. Instead of searching for love outside, he began cultivating the frequency of love within. Every morning, he looked in the mirror and smiled at himself, not to inflate his ego, but to honor his existence. He treated himself with kindness. He embodied the vibration of a loved man. And within months, he met someone. Not the perfect fantasy, but a deeply aligned partner. And for the first time, the love lasted. Not because fate suddenly favored him, but because he finally aligned with the timeline where love was possible. And perhaps the most profound stories come not from material gain, but from healing. There was a woman diagnosed with a chronic illness. Doctors told her she would never fully recover. But she believed differently. She immersed herself in meditation, entering states where she saw herself whole and radiant. She spoke to her cells as if they were listening. She thanked her body as if it had already healed. Months passed, and to the astonishment of her doctors, her symptoms began to reverse. Not overnight, not magically, but gradually, steadily, until her body reflected the alignment of her mind and spirit. Was it placebo? Perhaps. But here's the truth. The placebo is the proof. The mind, when aligned with belief, reshapes the body. And that is quantum manifestation in action. Stories like these are not rare. In fact, they are everywhere. People who shift their mindset, their frequency, their embodiment, and watch reality bend in response. A student visualizes her dream university and receives an acceptance letter against all odds. An entrepreneur, once drowning in failure, suddenly stumbles into an idea that transforms into a thriving business. A parent, once estranged from their child, softens their energy, and reconciliation blooms. These are not coincidences, They are alignments. The quantum field is not random. It is responsive. But here's the part most people miss. The stories are not meant to prove that others can manifest. They are mirrors, showing you what is possible for you. Because the moment you hear a story and think, that could be me, your frequency begins to shift. The seed is planted. And in that moment, a new timeline opens. Think about this. Every miracle story you've ever heard is not outside of you. It is inside the field you share with all of existence. If it happened for one, it is encoded in possibility for all. The only variable is alignment. So when you hear these stories, don't just listen. Embody them. Feel them as proof of what is available now. Let them dissolve the walls of doubt and open the door to belief. And belief is the final catalyst. Because when belief anchors, the quantum responds faster. Not because the universe suddenly becomes generous, but because your signal finally becomes clear. Up until now, you've walked through ideas, practices, and even stories that prove the quantum field responds. But the deepest truth is this. You are not just a participant in reality. You are its creator. And yet, for most of your life, you may have been taught the opposite. You were told reality is fixed, that destiny is written, that you are at the mercy of luck, chance, or circumstance. But quantum manifestation reveals something radical. The canvas of reality is not painted yet. It is wet, fluid, alive. And with every thought, every emotion, every act of alignment, you leave brushstrokes upon it. To truly step into creation, you must first dissolve the old identity of the seeker. The seeker is always looking outward, always searching for proof, always hoping the universe will deliver. But the Creator knows, I am the proof. I am the universe expressing itself. I am the one choosing the signal, and therefore, the reality. This shift is not intellectual. It is experiential. It happens when you begin living each moment with the awareness, I am broadcasting now, and the field is listening. Imagine this. You are standing in front of a great cosmic mirror. Every thought you think, every belief you embody, is reflected back. If you frown, the mirror frowns. If you smile, the mirror smiles. If you radiate gratitude, the mirror floods you with reasons to be grateful. This mirror does not judge. It does not decide what you deserve. It only reflects what you are. And once you grasp this, reality ceases to be random. It becomes responsive. But here's the beautiful paradox. When you become a creator, you no longer need to control. Creation is not about grasping tightly, obsessing over details, or forcing outcomes. It is about alignment. About stepping so fully into the vibration of what you desire that the reflection is inevitable. Think of a radio. You do not chase theirs. A music you want to hear. You simply tune the dial. And instantly, the station appears. So it is with creation. You do not chase reality. You tune into it, and it arrives. And yet, there will be moments of resistance, times when the old seeker identity tries to return, when doubt whispers, this isn't working, when fear convinces you to shrink back into the familiar. In those moments, remember, resistance is not failure, it is simply feedback. It is the field showing you where your vibration is still entangled with the old timeline. And instead of fighting it, you can thank it. Because resistance is the invitation to rise higher. So how do you fully anchor the creator identity? Through embodiment. by living each day as if your desired reality is already unfolding, not waiting, not begging, not hoping, but being. Wake up in the morning and ask yourself, if I were already living my highest reality, how would I carry myself today? How would I speak? How would I move? How would I think? How would I love? And then, live that way. Not tomorrow. Not when the evidence appears. Now. Because when you embody the vibration of the Creator, reality has no choice but to follow. Let's anchor this in a metaphor. A caterpillar may dream of flight, but dreaming alone does not give it wings. It must dissolve into the cocoon, surrender its old identity, and emerge as something new. That is transformation. In the same way, you must allow the seeker identity to dissolve, the one that waits, doubts, and wonders if it's possible. So the Creator identity can emerge, the one that knows, chooses, and lives as if reality bends to its frequency. And here lies the ultimate transformation. You stop asking if manifestation works. You start asking, what timeline do I wish to embody today? Do I choose scarcity or abundance? Fear or love? Doubt or faith? Separation or connection? Each choice. Broadcasts. Each broadcast collapses possibilities. And through those choices, you sculpt reality. And here's the secret most never realize. The field is not out there. It is in here, within your breath, within your heart, within the space between your thoughts. You are not separate from the quantum. You are the quantum. You are the frequency. You are the signal and the receiver. You are the dreamer and the dream. So let this be your great transformation. From seeker to creator. From waiting to embodying. From hoping to knowing. From asking if reality responds, to realizing reality is responding now, to every frequency you emit. And as you embrace this truth, something extraordinary begins to unfold. Life stops feeling like a maze to solve. It becomes a canvas to paint, a song to play, a story to tell. And you, not fate, not chance, not circumstance, you are the author. And so, here we are. The end of one journey and the beginning of another. You have walked through the mysteries of the quantum. You've seen how thought becomes signal, how belief becomes frequency, how your heart and mind together bend the fabric of reality itself. And perhaps as you listen now, you can feel it. A quiet stirring inside, a knowing that something has shifted, that you are no longer who you were when this journey began. Because now you see the truth. You are not waiting for reality. You are shaping it. You are not a seeker in the dark. You are a creator in the light. But here's the thing most people forget. Transformation is not meant to be walked alone. The quantum field connects us all, which means your journey, your breakthroughs, your alignment, they ripple out. They inspire others. They amplify the field we share. When you embody abundance, others feel permission to do the same. When you radiate love, the people around you soften. When you walk in freedom, others see that freedom is possible. And so, the call is not just to live this truth for yourself. It is to live it for all of us. To become a signal so bright that it lights the way for others still searching. So let me ask you, what story will you write from here? What timeline will you collapse into now? What reality will you choose to embody today? Because the moment you decide, the moment you feel it as already yours, the quantum begins rearranging itself in your favor. And as we close, I invite you into reflection and into community. Drop into the comments below and share this. What is the one reality you are ready to align with now? Is it love? Is it abundance? Is it freedom? Is it healing? Declare it. Because when you speak it, when you anchor it in words, you strengthen the signal. And as others read, they feel it too. And together, we amplify the field. This is the bow tie of community. Manifestation multiplies when it is shared. One frequency alone can shift reality, but many frequencies, aligned in resonance, can shift the world. So take this as your call. Step fully into your creator identity. Live as if your desires are already yours. Give thanks not for what is coming, but for what is. And remember, the quantum is not waiting, it is responding. Now. And if you feel the resonance of this path, stay close. This channel is a space for seekers becoming creators, for dreamers becoming doers, for souls awakening to their infinite power. Together, we will dive deeper. Together, we will explore the mysteries and the practices that accelerate transformation. Together, we will remember who we truly are. So subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with a friend who needs the reminder. And most importantly, carry this vibration with you as you step into the rest of your day. Because reality is listening. The field is alive, and your next chapter is already waiting for you to claim it. You are the frequency. You are the signal. You are the miracle unfolding. And now, it is time to live it.